Standing in front of the Hall of the Supreme Harmony, you feel that you're very small, right?
Yes.
This is what the emperor wants you to feel. This is a symbol of the highest power. So it is built on a 3-4 marble foundation that is higher than all other buildings. This kind of marble foundation is from Buddhism legend. It is said that in the center of the world there is a mountain called the Sumeru Mountain, and up on the mountain there is a palace of the Buddha. So the emperor did not live there. They only use it for the most important ceremony. For example, new emperor's enthronement, or the emperor's birthday, the emperor's wedding, or a New Year's Day celebration, or the mobilizations for the army before they were sent to the battlefield. Right? I don't know if you have watched a movie called The Last Emperor. It was made by an Italian film director. It is a very good movie. It has won 9 Academy Awards. That is a film that has the second most Academy Awards, only next to Titanic. It is based on a real story of the last emperor in the Qing dynasty. His name was Pu Yi. When he was enthroned, he was only 3 years old. Can you believe that? A 3-year-old boy became the emperor. So you can imagine what the ceremony was like. When the emperor dressed up, he would ascend to the throne through the stairs, and then he sat on a big throne inside the hall. There's nothing else in the hall, only one big throne. The emperor sat there, and all the court officials would be gathered in the square, and they kneel on the ground and kowtow. This word kowtow mean you use your head to hit the ground. And then everybody would follow the instruction from a person to stand up and kneel on the ground and kowtow and stand up, kneel and kowtow. They repeat this many, many times. And everybody will be chanting together 10,000 years, Emperor. And they ring the bell and beat the drum and burn the incense. This is what the ceremony was like. When he sat on the throne, since he was too young, and he was scared by, thousands of the people here. So he was crying and he was moving around, and his father tried to stop him from crying. So he told his boy that he said, this is soon going to be over. He meant that the ceremony was soon going to be over, but what he said was heard by everybody inside the hall. They thought that this is something that is very inappropriate to say in such occasion. Because, at that time, Qing dynasty government was very weak. Everybody knew that the dynasty wouldn't last for too long. And this has become reality. Only 3 years after this boy was enthroned, in 1911, the democratic revolution broke out. The revolutionists forced the last emperor Pu Yi to resign from his throne. So after 1912, there's no more emperor in China. He was the last one. The new government, they gave the royal family a favor treaty. They allowed them to still live in the Forbidden City, but only half of it. In 1924, the last emperor, he was finally driven out from the palace, and the government took this place as a palace museum and opened it in 1925. So after driven out from his own palace, the last emperor Pu Yi, he was taken by the Japanese to the northeast China, and the Japanese used his fame to set up a puppet state called Manchukuo. After the Second World War, the Japanese wanted to take him to Japan, but he was arrested by the soldiers of the former Soviet Union at the airport. They took him to Moscow and imprisoned him for 3 years. And then after that, he was sent back to China. He was re-educated for a few years. And then finally, he was free. And our government was very concerned of his life, since he used to be an emperor and now he's a commoner. So our premier, Zhou Enlai, asked Pu Yi what he wanted to do. He wanted to give him work. And the Pu Yi said to the premier that he wanted to be a tour guide. He wanted to take people to visit the Forbidden City because he used to live here. So he was very familiar with this place. But the premier Zhou said, this might not be a very good idea. So he was finally given a job as a gardener, taking care of the plants and the flowers in an arboretum. This was his job. So this emperor's life was very interesting, and he wrote a book about his life called The First Half of My Life. It is also translated like From Emperor to Citizen. I really recommend that you read this book.